Up until last year, when it was closed for good, the Smethwick Baths was a fun place where families and those keeping fit could swim lengths in its stunning Art Deco swimming pool. But what those people didn't know was the chilling and haunted history that spans back 700 years. I'm Bleaki, and today we'll take a look at the haunting of the Smethwick Baths, which includes the discovery of 300 bodies which are left so the building could be built on top of them, as well as the disembodied voices of previous visitors who never left, and the overwhelming smell of decomposition in a makeshift morgue which still remains in the building. The Smethwick Baths is an Art Deco swimming pool that was built in 1933 and is a Grade 2 listed building. It was designed by Chester Button and Roland Fletcher, and the Art Deco features of the building were inspired by the high arched roofs of aircraft hangars in France. It was built for the sole purpose of a public swimming pool known as the Thimble Mill Baths, but during the Second World War, the tunnel system beneath it was used as an air raid shelter. The remnants of this can still be seen to this day in the form of posters that were never taken down from that period. Sadly, the cellars of the building were used as a makeshift morgue to house the poor souls who were killed during the bombings, and had contained over 80 bodies during its time as a morgue. Speaking of bodies, during its construction, builders unintentionally discovered the remains of 300 people buried beneath the reception area of the building. This turned out to be a medieval plague pit. To respect the remains or to just keep construction progress going, the uncovered bodies were covered back up and the building was built on top of them. Souls not given a proper burial and being disturbed have all the foundations of a truly active haunting, and as you're about to find out, this is certainly the case of the Smethwick Baths. While there are plenty of entities haunting the baths and the main building, the tunnels below the pool hold the most paranormal activity, and even with the ghost taken out of the equation, this location looks like nightmare fuel. While the space had a dark purpose during the war, its initial purpose was to hold concerts and dances during the winter months. This means that the area has a cocktail of energy from both good and awful times. The wood store at the far end of the passageways is believed to hold the spirit of a male who has hatred towards women. What is it with male ghosts hating women? Seems like incels aren't just a modern thing. This malicious spirit is so active, in fact, that when a group of female ghost hunters are in that room, they claim that the spirit threw a heavy wooden table at them, causing them all to freak out and run away. Understandable? This entity only shows itself in the form of a mist that travels from room to room and disappears through the cold and bleak tunnel walls. The most famous ghost of the Smethwick Baths is that of a little girl known as Emily. It is said that the girl lived in a house on the land of the Baths hundreds of years ago when there were only fields and farmland in the area. After contracting tuberculosis, the girl sadly passed away, but never passed on. Emily has been seen rushing through the corridors of the cellar and has been witnessed by countless people over the years. The child is an innocent spirit, however, with people feeling like a little hand is trying to hold theirs, as well as hearing indistinguishable whispers in their ears. Chillingly, one paranormal group claimed to hear a young girl cry "Mommy," which echoed through the tunnels. A man in a boiler suit has also been seen, especially by workers who have been doing work in the underground area. This man is described as wearing a navy boiler suit and has red hair who greets people he passes. Contractors said that they genuinely believed that they were talking to another worker after having long conversations with the person. After leaving the person, however, they are left terrified to learn that they were alone working down there and that they were not the first to run into the physical looking spirit. Now you might be thinking, didn't the workers notice an era gap within the conversation? You know, ghosts won't be able to chime in about the latest Fallout season, but in Britain, it's a rule to open every conversation by moaning about the weather, and that's universal no matter what time period you're from. Other workers have also reported to the office of hearing groups of children running around the corridor but never seeing them. After investigating, they can't work out how the gang got into the area in the first place. Is this an echo of the children who once sheltered from the air raids, trying to entertain themselves during the long nights? It's not just human spirits that have been experienced in the underground area, however, with the ghosts of cats, dogs, and even a horse being seen roaming the corridors. How a horse spirit got trapped in a basement, I don't know. Another spirit who frequently haunts the Smethwick Baths is that of a little boy, which people have described as being covered in white powder. While those who have seen the boy can't make sense of what they saw, outside of an overcautious mother dumping a tub of talcum powder on a boy after a swim, it's interesting to note that during the 14th century plague, the bodies would be covered in lime powder to stop the spread of infection. Could this little boy be the spirit of one of the 300 plague victims buried beneath the building? This boy has frightened many visitors, staff and contractors when entering rooms of the corridors. When they turn on the light, however, the young child vanishes. The most terrifying place in the whole building is the morgue. The basement room used as a morgue is said to fill with the stench of decay which suddenly dissipates. Also, extreme temperature drops have also been recorded by paranormal investigators. Orbs have also been seen by the naked eye, and a dark figure of a man with a long beard and hair is often seen standing in the corner of the morgue. The chute where bodies were lowered into the morgue from the car park holds a strange atmosphere of its own, with people only being able to stand in there for a couple of seconds before feeling physically sick. Others have described an overwhelming sense of sadness in this room, which has reduced people to tears for unknown reasons. The tunnels aren't the only area that is haunted within the baths, with most of the rooms holding a ghostly tale. Mysterious footsteps have been heard striding through the reception area when no one else was around. Puddles in the changing rooms have left fresh footprints that have been discovered by staff members opening the pool in the morning when no one was in the building for 12 hours. Not only do these spirits go for a sneaky dip in the pool, but also like to mess with the workers by turning the equipment off in the plant room. People using the upstairs ladies' toilets have had the shock of their life to see a woman dressed in an RAF uniform staring into a mirror before vanishing. I hope she washed her hands. I don't want to hear the excuse, I'm dead. It's not going to fly. Hygiene. For another spirit, the wartime connection of the Smethwick Baths is still going strong, with another RAF soldier, this time a male, being seen walking around the building. It's worth noting that there was a US military base nearby, and American service people would file into the cavernous tunnels below the building when the bombs dropped. The ghostly children heard in the basement seem to roam the entire building, and have even been heard by staff locking balcony doors after the public have left for the night. In the backstage area of the stage where the Beatles and the Kings once performed, a phantom woman has been seen pushing a tea trolley. While the cups can be seen rattling, nothing is heard, although the scent of lavender perfume can be smelled but vanishes along with the spirit moments after being spotted. This spirit is blamed for doors slamming and pushing door handles down. In recent years, the Smethwick Baths has been a venue for paranormal investigation events and has provided thrill seekers with more than their money's worth. One person reported hearing an American accent repeating the word navigation from somewhere close by when they were alone in the area, while another saw what they presumed was children's feet dangling from the ceiling before being pulled up through it. The baths, now known as the Smethwick Swimming Centre, is now permanently closed due to the Sandwell Aquatic Centre being open to the public, which will also be used in the next Commonwealth Games. It is sad to see yet another historical building being closed down in favour of modern counterparts, especially with the rich history of the building, but the council have admitted they can't afford to retain the building, so that's that. While the cavernous tunnels will forever remain empty and the pool will no longer host the laughter of children and the hustle and bustle of swimming enthusiasts, it doesn't mean that the Smethwick Baths won't remain the anchor point for the lost children, the hard-working tea lady, and the RAF staff who don't realise the service is over. If you enjoyed this video and like to watch similar content, why not hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. That way you'll get a notification as soon as my videos pop up, including my YouTube shorts that I upload throughout the week. And as always, sleep well, friends.